Hey everyone, this is Cameron from Obnoxious and Anonymous, and today I want to talk about the 13th Sycamore in Twin Peaks Season 3, or as Showtime branded it, The Return. Now I'm sure there are more than a few of you thinking, okay, there are 12 sycamores surrounding Glastonbury Grove, but what's all this 13th Sycamore business? Well, in the making of documentaries prominently featured on the Twin Peaks Z to A box set, there's an amazing bit of dialogue that was shot but never aired that shows the firemen addressing Cooper in the opening scene of the season. This is key because while it's a clue that David Lynch ultimately felt wasn't needed for the viewers to know, the line was written and filmed, so the character of Cooper, played by Kyle MacLachlan, did actually hear it, so his motivation moving forward would be reflecting this tidbit of information.
I understand.
After all, on the DVD and Blu-ray releases of Inland Empire, the deleted scenes are known as More Things That Happened, and of course, Fire Walk With Me's are called The Missing Pieces. Just because a scene or line isn't in the completed finished work doesn't mean it's not relevant to the proceedings. So alright, what exactly is the 13th Sycamore that Cooper should be hesitant about? Some think it's the evolution of the arm in the Black Lodge, or its doppelganger. And while anything may be possible, I think this one is too easy. Kind of like Leo Johnson at the start of Season 1 being the clear suspect of the murder of Laura Palmer. You see, until Michael J. Anderson burned his bridges with David Lynch prior to Season 3's filming, he was always meant to reprise his role as the man from another place. But what if the line was written after the actor's fallout with Lynch? The fact that the actor didn't return and was replaced instead with this image only would cement the deleted line spoken by the giant or fireman even more, so there would be no need to cut it. In fact, the line probably would have been highlighted. Some think the 13th Sycamore is in reference to the solitary tree where the portal to the White Lodge is located, and where Nato was found. But why would anyone need to be afraid of this spot? Andy was summoned here by the firemen and given all sorts of information as to how to stop Mr. C, so I don't think it's this Sycamore either. So a couple weeks ago, I decided to rewatch Part 18 on a whim, because the observation tweets posted by the Counter Esperanto podcast were getting me back into the mood. So I'm sitting there watching, and Cooper and Diane drive to the 430 spot where they're preparing to cross over to an alternative plane of existence. But once they do, they pull into a motel to engage in a ritualistic magic sex act that closes out the scene. The next morning, Cooper wakes up and is greeted by a letter from Diane, now calling him Richard and herself Linda. He then exits the motel, which is now transformed into a larger one from the night before, and gets into a different car altogether. And that's when I saw it. The 13th Sycamore. There it is. Larger than all the others shown in the series and right in our faces. But because we're watching the car, we don't notice as viewers. We are now in Judy's world, a reconstruction of ours where it's keeping Laura Palmer, now known as Carrie Page, hostage. So apparently the sex act from the night before that Cooper and Diane engaged in worked. Cooper needed to cross over and then go at least one more level down before encountering Laura. So where exactly was Cooper and Diane when they had their little tryst in the motel? Tibetan Buddhism would call it the bardo, a state of existence between death and rebirth, varying in length according to a person's conduct in life and manner or age at death. In Twin Peaks, though, we call it the waiting room. Having us see the Sycamore outside the motel and Cooper/Richard is meant to create suspense, but only if we had heard the fireman's warning that was deleted. But since David Lynch deleted that line, we all just sat there and watched Dale Cooper pull out of the driveway. Knowing this line was filmed and that Cooper himself heard it means this shot was always meant to create even more dread in the audience before we even get to the restaurant named Judy's. I posted this idea on Twitter, and Mark Frost himself actually liked it. So I'm inclined at this point to believe that the 13th Sycamore that Cooper should be aware of, but doesn't actually see, like so many other aspects of Season 3 that challenge his beliefs and character along the way, is sitting right there. Now, whether Cooper and Carrie indeed cross back over correctly or are still stuck in Judy's world at the end of the season is another video for another day. Thank you so much for watching.